The moment you hear these words, something inside you will shift. Because this message is not for everyone. It is not for the casual listener, not for the curious soul passing through, not for the heart that is undecided or unsure. No, this message is only for the chosen ones who feel a stirring deep within their spirit. You will know instantly if this is meant for you, because when God marks you, the voice that calls you pierces deeper than anything in this world. If your heart beats faster, if your mind suddenly sharpens, if your spirit feels pulled forward as though God Himself is summoning you, then understand, you are under a message designed only for those whom God has separated, elevated, and prepared for something far greater than what ordinary eyes can see. There are moments in life when God speaks not through signs, not through dreams, not through quiet whispers, but through a divine interruption. Something that seizes your attention and refuses to let you go. That is this moment. You are not hearing this by accident. You are hearing this because God has turned your steps, aligned your timing, and intentionally placed you here so you could receive a word meant to ignite you, strengthen you, and awaken what has been dormant inside you for far too long. God has chosen you, not because you were the most qualified, not because you were the loudest, and not because you fit the standards of the world, but because your spirit carries a signature only God can recognize. When God chooses someone, the world may overlook them, but heaven does not. There have been battles you have survived that others would have collapsed under. There were nights when your heart broke, but your spirit remained standing. There were moments when everything around you fell apart, and yet something within you refused to give up. That was not your strength. It was the mark of God on your life. God has been shaping you in silence, training you in hidden seasons, and preparing you in ways that even you did not fully understand. And now, God brings you into this moment, this message, because your time is shifting. What you carried alone is about to become the very testimony that lifts you higher. Listen closely. When God chooses you, He does not choose you for comfort. He chooses you for purpose. He chooses you to stand when others fall. He chooses you to walk through storms that were designed to break you, but instead build you. He chooses you to hold on to faith when logic collapses. The chosen ones walk paths that make no sense to the world, but perfect sense to God. You did not survive because you are lucky. You survived because God strengthened you. You did not endure because you are resilient. You endured because God upheld you. You did not rise because circumstances were favorable. You rose because God breathed on your journey. There is a weight that chosen ones carry, a weight of responsibility, of vision, of spiritual sensitivity. You feel deeply. You notice what others ignore. You sense shifts before they happen. You can walk into a room and pick up atmospheres without anyone saying a word. That is because God has sharpened your spirit. He has trained you in discernment, placed an inner radar inside you that detects what eyes cannot see. And sometimes this gift makes you feel different, isolated, or misunderstood. But hear this truth. Being misunderstood is often the first confirmation that God has set you apart. The world cannot understand what heaven has endorsed. You have been stretched. You have been challenged. You have been tested in ways that seemed almost unfair. But those tests were not punishments. They were preparation. God never places a chosen one on a battlefield without first strengthening their spirit. Every struggle you went through was building your endurance. Every disappointment was refining your focus. Every delay was shaping your timing. Every loss was strengthening your humility. And every betrayal was positioning your heart to rely on God alone. When God chooses someone, He strips away everything that would distract them from His purpose. You may have wondered why certain people disappear from your life without explanation, why friendships dissolve, why help did not come from the places you expected, why certain doors suddenly closed. It was not misfortune, it was God's protection. Chosen ones are not allowed to be connected to every person or every situation. Some people were removed because they would have contaminated your spirit. Some doors closed because the blessing behind them was not meant for you. Some opportunities vanished because they would have lowered your calling. God isolates His chosen ones not to punish them, but to prepare them for something higher. And now God is signaling to you, the time of your rising is nearing. The season you have been waiting for is shifting. You have been faithful in silence, and God is about to elevate you in ways that will make it clear that your hidden warfare was never in vain. But before that elevation comes, God delivers a message, a divine reminder that what He's about to release in your life is not random. It is intentional. It is strategic. It is appointed. And it is reserved for those whom God has chosen, those who have walked through fire and did not crumble, those who have cried tears that only God witnessed, those who kept their faith alive even when everything around them went dark. Hear this with all your spirit. Chosen ones do not belong to ordinary seasons. When God assigns you to a divine purpose, your life will always feel different. People around you may be satisfied with average, but something in you always hungers for more. Others can settle, but your spirit refuses to shrink. You feel a constant pull towards something higher. This restlessness is not a flaw, it is divine propulsion. God is pushing you, nudging you, pulling you toward the destiny He wrote for you long before you were born. That calling inside you is loud because heaven is calling your name. But understand, being chosen is not just a title. It is a journey that demands surrender. God will strip away your comfort zones. He will break the habits that weaken your spirit. He will expose the thoughts that limit your growth. He will confront the fears that keep you small. He will demand your trust in moments where you cannot see your next step. God does not choose the faint-hearted. He chooses those who are willing to walk by faith when logic fails, those willing to rise even after collapsing, those willing to carry themselves with dignity even when life feels unfair. You have carried battles silently. You have fought wars in your heart that no one knows about. You have wiped tears in private while still showing strength in public. You have encouraged others while you yourself were in need of encouragement, and God saw it all. Every hidden tear, every silent prayer, every moment you forced why? Ourselves to keep going. None of it was wasted. God is not blind to your endurance. He is not indifferent to your pain. He is not distant from your struggle. You are chosen, and everything you went through was a piece of your divine preparation. There were times you asked, why me? Why the hardship? Why the loneliness? Why the betrayal? Why the closed doors? But the real question is not why you went through it. The real question is why you survived it. You survived because God shielded you. You survived because your purpose is greater than your pain. You survived because there is a story written in your spirit that must be fulfilled. Every chosen one carries a destiny, and destiny does not unfold in comfort. It unfolds in pressure, in growth, in breaking, in rising. And now you are stepping into a season where God is about to reveal why you went through everything you did. You will see the alignment of every setback. You will see the beauty behind every delay. You will understand the wisdom behind every closed door. You will witness how every struggle crafted your strength. You will see clearly that what felt like punishment was actually protection. What felt like loss was actually redirection. What felt like waiting was actually preparation. Chosen ones walk with a weight that others cannot comprehend. You feel responsible even when you are not obligated. You feel called even when you try to run. You feel pulled even when you are tired. You feel awakened even when you want to rest. That is because God has placed a mantle on your life that refuses to be ignored. You are not like everyone else. You are not wired like everyone else. Your spirit is built differently because your destiny is built differently. There is a shift happening in your life right now, an invisible transition, where God is rearranging your path in ways that may feel uncomfortable but necessary. Some of you can feel that something major is coming. You may not see it yet, but your spirit senses it. You feel a push to grow, a push to release old habits, a push to leave certain people behind, a push to elevate your discipline, a push to strengthen your connection with God. That push is not random, it is divine momentum. God is preparing you for what your spirit already knows is coming. You have been tested mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You have been stretched to your limits. You have endured seasons that felt like they would break you, but every chosen one goes through a breaking before they enter their becoming. God breaks what is weak to strengthen what is divine. God removes what is temporary to reveal what is eternal. God silences your surroundings so you can hear His direction clearly. And right now, God is telling you, prepare yourself. You are stepping into what I created you for. Chosen ones do not walk normally. They walk with divine timing. You will see things accelerate in ways that do not make sense. Opportunities will begin to recognize you. People will be drawn to your presence. Doors will open without you knocking. Paths will clear without you fighting. Because when God decides to elevate a chosen one, nothing in existence can stand in the way. The same God who allowed you to be tested will be the God who lifts you publicly. But hear this truth with your whole being. Elevation requires transformation. God is calling you to rise in your mindset, rise in your discipline, rise in your faith, rise in your courage. You cannot carry old doubts into a new destiny. You cannot carry old wounds into a new season. You cannot carry old insecurities into a new assignment. God is cleansing your spirit, renewing your strength, sharpening your focus. This message is not meant to make you comfortable. It is meant to awaken you. You are chosen. That means your calling is non-negotiable. Your purpose is irreversible. Your destiny is unchangeable. You were designed for something divine. You were created with intention. Your existence carries a spiritual signature. You are not random. You are not accidental. You are a sign. When God chooses you, He does not simply place His hand on your life. He reshapes the very structure of your spirit. You begin to walk differently, think differently, perceive differently. You begin to sense that you no longer belong to the crowds you once blended into. You feel an inner separation, an invisible elevation, a quiet but undeniable distinction. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. God does not raise chosen ones to feel superior. He raises them so they may carry a greater weight of purpose. And when God elevates you, He also refines you. He removes layers of fear, strips away illusions, and strengthens every spiritual fiber within you, so that when your destiny arrives, you are equipped to handle it with unwavering certainty. There will always be moments when the chosen ones feel pressure that others do not feel. This is because God compresses them the way a sculptor presses clay before shaping it into something extraordinary. Pressure is not punishment, it is divine molding. When God applies pressure, He is squeezing out everything that cannot follow you into your purpose. He is removing the doubts that used to weaken you. He is eliminating the voices that once distracted you. He is silencing the noise that kept your spirit restless. Through every challenge, God is shaping a stronger, clearer or focused version of you. The chosen ones are not built in comfort, they are forged in intensity. You have felt this intensity in your own life. There were days when your spirit was stirred without knowing why. Days when you felt an urgency inside you that words could not explain. Days when it seemed as though God was calling you into solitude. Not because He was distancing Himself from you, but because He was inviting you closer. God draws His chosen ones into quiet places so they can hear Him clearly. The world speaks loudly, but God speaks powerfully. And in the silence, He reveals truths that only the chosen are prepared to receive. In the stillness, He awakens wisdom that cannot be learned from books or people. It comes directly from His guidance. Many of the thoughts you carry, the insights you perceive, the intuition that flows through you, these are not coincidences. These are spiritual signals. When God chooses a person, He heightens their inner senses. They begin to feel what others overlook. They begin to recognize what others ignore. They begin to discern what others are blind to. Your spirit becomes a receiver of divine warnings, divine directions, divine nudges. This is why you often sense when someone's intentions are not pure. This is why you feel an uneasiness when you are near certain environments. This is why your peace disappears when something is not aligned with God's will for you. It is because God has sharpened your spiritual perception. And with this heightened perception comes a deeper calling. God begins to challenge you to make choices that do not match the typical decisions of those around you. He will ask you to walk away from people who drain your spirit. He will ask you to release habits that weaken your purpose. He will ask you to rise above behaviors that no longer reflect who you are becoming. These instructions may feel difficult, but they are divine. When God chooses you, He does not negotiate with your comfort. He prioritizes your destiny. He will not allow you to remain in spaces that cannot hold the magnitude of the person He is shaping you into. This is why your journey often feels different. You may look around and see others moving easily through life, while you seem to face challenges more frequently. But understand this: the intensity of your battles is evidence of the greatness of your calling. God does not put heavy assignments on weak spirits. He strengthens His chosen ones through every trial because their future requires a level of resilience that cannot be developed any other way. What you have survived has not been random. Every trial was strategic. Every hardship was intentional. God was preparing your inner foundation for what He is about to build. And make no mistake, God is building something within you, something powerful, something unshakable, something that will cause your presence to shift atmospheres, your words to bring clarity, your decisions to carry weight. When God chooses someone, He expands their influence in ways that extend far beyond their current environment. You may not realize it now, but your life carries a spiritual ripple effect. People observe your strength even when you feel weak. They admire your consistency. Even when you feel uncertain, they draw comfort from your resilience. Even when they do not tell you, God is using your life like a silent testimony, shaping others through your example without you even knowing it. But the most powerful part of being chosen is this: God entrusts you with a future that others are not prepared to carry. He gives you arms that stretch beyond your understanding. He plants visions in your heart that seem too big for your hands to hold. You feel these visions pulling at you, calling you, refusing to let you settle. And you may wonder, why do I feel this burden? Why do I sense this weight? It is because your destiny is immense, and God is calling you to prepare yourself for what He is about to unleash. You are entering a season where God will begin to reveal the hidden meaning behind your past. You will begin to understand why certain things had to break before they could bless you. You will start to see why delays were necessary for your development. You will realize that what felt like the end was actually the planting of a new beginning. God is aligning your steps with precision, orchestrating your path with care, and preparing your environment for your arrival. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on divine schedule. There is a shift taking place in your spirit, a shift that signals transition. You may feel a restlessness inside you, a sensation that something new is coming. You may feel drawn toward change, even if you do not know what the change is. This is spiritual movement. God shifts the spirit before He shifts the surroundings. He prepares your heart before He changes your path. He awakens your awareness before He releases the blessing. You are sensing the vibration of a new season because God is guiding you toward the next chapter of your calling. But hear this with complete conviction. Entering a new season requires releasing the old. God will not elevate you into your next level while your hands are still holding on to the past. You must release the doubts that weaken you, the fears that bind you, the regrets that haunt you, and the limitations that once controlled you. You must step forward with a purified heart, a renewed mind, and a strengthened spirit. God is calling you to rise, not softly, not gradually, but powerfully. And when God calls you to rise, it is not optional. It is destiny speaking. It is purpose demanding to be fulfilled. You cannot shrink when God commands expansion. You cannot remain silent when God places truth in your mouth. You cannot sit still when God pushes you into motion. The chosen ones are activated by divine timing, and your activation is happening now. You may feel unqualified, but God qualifies those He chooses. You may feel unsure, but God stabilizes those He strengthens. You may feel overwhelmed, but God empowers those He appoints. Your uncertainty does not disqualify you. It humbles you so God can fill you. Your weakness does not limit you. It reminds you to draw strength from God alone. There comes a point in every chosen one's life when God shifts from preparing you privately to positioning you publicly. This transition does not happen suddenly, yet when it arrives, it feels like a divine turning of the tides. You begin to feel a surge of clarity, a rise of inner strength, a settling of identity within your spirit. You no longer question who you are. You no longer doubt the calling placed upon you. You no longer seek validation from the world because your confidence is anchored in the voice of God alone. This inner certainty is not arrogance. It is spiritual alignment. It is the quiet confidence that forms when God has spent years molding you, pruning you, and cleansing your spirit so that you can stand firm when destiny finally calls your name. Chosen ones carry a fire that does not extinguish. Even when life tries to break you, something inside you refuses to collapse. You may be, but you do not break. You may slow down, but you never stop. You may cry, but you never surrender. This unstoppable resilience is not something you learned. It is something God placed in your spiritual DNA before you were even aware of your purpose. God invests His strength into His chosen ones because their journey requires a level of endurance that cannot be borrowed from the world. Your strength is not ordinary, it is God-given. Your persistence is not random, it is God-sustained. Your survival is not accidental, it is God-ordained. And now God is calling you to rise with a new level of intensity. He is positioning you for influence, for impact, for authority. Not authority that comes from titles or recognition, but authority that comes from spiritual clarity. Authority that allows you to walk into a room and shift the atmosphere without saying a word. Authority that empowers you to speak truth that pierces the soul. Authority that flows from a life purified through trials, shaped through silence, and strengthened through surrender. This is the authority of someone God has chosen, someone God has prepared, someone God has set apart for a greater purpose. You are being called to a higher level of spiritual discipline. God is inviting you into deeper prayer, deeper reflection, deeper connection. This is not because He wants to burden you, but because He wants to expand you. Chosen ones must carry spiritual weight with stability. You must learn to hold peace in chaos. You must learn to speak wisdom in confusion. You must learn to remain anchored when the world shakes. These abilities do not come through comfort. They come through intentional spiritual training. And God has been training you all along, even when you did not realize it. Think back on the moments where you felt alone. Those were not moments of abandonment. They were moments of divine tutoring. Think of the times when doors closed. Those were not signs of rejection. They were redirections crafted to protect your spirit. Think of the relationships that fell apart. Those were not losses. They were spiritual separations meant to free you from attachments that could not travel with you into your destiny. God is meticulous with His chosen ones. He removes what weakens you, even when your human heart does not understand. But later, sometimes much later, you look back and realize God saved you from things you thought you needed. And now He is preparing to add into your life what you truly need. Divine connections, spiritual upliftment, clear direction, insight that cuts through confusion, strength that carries you beyond your limits. You are stepping into a time where God will begin to reveal why He separated you, why He slowed you down, why He kept you hidden. Chosen ones are hidden before they are revealed. They are isolated before they are elevated. They are quieted before they are amplified. This is the rhythm of divine preparation. Many people want elevation, but they do not want refinement. They want blessings, but not the discipline required to maintain them. They want influence, but not the responsibility that accompanies it. But chosen ones, they endure it all. They accept the breaking, the rebuilding, the reshaping. They allow God to cut away the weaknesses that once controlled them. They allow God to purify their intentions. They allow God to redirect their desires so that every part of their life aligns with His will. This surrender is what positions a chosen one for greatness. And hear this, greatness in God's design is not measured by applause or recognition. It is measured by obedience. It is measured by humility. It is measured by the strength to choose what is right even when it is difficult. The world may not understand your calling, but God does. And your spirit does. You feel the weight of your destiny inside you. You feel the responsibility of your assignment. You feel the urgency that God has placed on your heart. This is because you are not created to blend in. You were created to stand out. God is calling you to a new level of identity. He wants you to walk with your head lifted, not in pride, but in purpose. He wants you to speak with clarity, not from ego, but from spiritual conviction. He wants you to move with precision, not out of fear, but out of divine confidence. When God chooses someone, He equips them with the kind of inner authority that comes from spiritual truth. You are being grounded in truth so that when storms rise, you are unshaken. So that when challenges come, you respond from a place of stability. So that when people misunderstand you, your purpose remains intact. There is a moment coming when God will activate what He has been building within you. A moment when opportunities align. A moment when clarity settles. A moment when you feel a surge of spiritual boldness stronger than anything you have experienced before. You will know this moment because it will feel like your entire life has been guiding you toward it. Everything will make sense. Everything will align. Everything will feel purposeful. God's timing is never late. His activation is never accidental. His elevation is always intentional. But understand this with your whole spirit. When God elevates you, the weight of your assignment increases. Chosen ones do not rise for their own comfort. They rise for impact. Your life is meant to shift others. Your words are meant to awaken souls. Your presence is meant to bring clarity where confusion exists. You have been chosen to carry spiritual influence, not influence that inflates your ego, but influence that honors God by lifting those around you. You may feel the pressure of this calling, but God would not place a burden on your shoulders that your spirit was not designed to carry. You have strength you have not yet tapped into. You have wisdom you have not yet spoken. You have impact you have not yet released. God is preparing you to walk in a level of power that will surprise even you. And this power does not come from the world. It comes from alignment with God's will. God is shaping you to become a vessel of spiritual clarity. Someone who carries peace in chaotic places. Someone who carries strength in fragile environments. Someone who carries wisdom in moments of confusion. Someone who carries faith when others feel hopeless. This is why you were chosen. God's chosen ones are not selected because they are perfect. They are selected because they are willing. And you are willing. Even when you felt afraid, you still tried. Even when you felt weak, you still showed up. Even when you felt uncertain, you still moved forward. Even when you felt broken, you still kept faith. God has seen your persistence and He is rewarding it by elevating your spirit into a new season of purpose. The truth is this. When God chooses you, He does not choose you for a moment. He chooses you for a lifetime. He chooses you knowing every flaw, every fear, every wound, every weakness. And yet He still calls you forward because He sees what you cannot see. He sees the strength beneath your struggle. He sees the courage beneath your hesitation. He sees the light that still burns in you, even when you think it is dimmed. And now, God is bringing you to a place where everything you have carried, everything you have survived, everything you have learned is beginning to converge into clarity. You are starting to understand that nothing was wasted. Not the pain, not the silence, not the waiting, not the questions. Every piece was part of your preparation. Even the moments you thought broke you were actually building you. Even the seasons where you felt forgotten were seasons where God was working behind the scenes. You were not abandoned. You were being preserved. You were not overlooked. You were being protected. You were not delayed. You were being developed. The chosen ones always go through a longer process because their destiny requires a stronger foundation. And now that foundation is beginning to reveal itself through your spirit, through your resilience, through your unshakable inner strength. God has been shaping you for something bigger than anything you have imagined. You may have wondered why you think differently from those around you, why your heart feels heavier, deeper, more sensitive to truth, more aligned with purpose. It is because your spirit belongs to a higher calling. God has wired you with a depth that others cannot easily understand. You feel pain deeply, but you also feel purpose powerfully. You sense danger quickly, but you also sense direction clearly. Your heart reacts not only to what is seen, but to what is unseen. That is the mark of the chosen. God has given you an inner compass that points toward destiny, even when the world around you is filled with confusion. This is why you cannot ignore the stirring within you. You cannot silence the voice inside you that keeps telling you you were made for more. You cannot deny the pull that keeps urging you to rise. You cannot disregard the moments when your spirit feels awakened for no obvious reason. These moments are signals, divine signals, that God is shifting you, guiding you, lifting you into a season where your purpose will no longer wait quietly inside you. It will begin to speak through you, move through you, and push you into action. You are entering a time when what God placed within you will not allow you to settle for less. And in this divine shift, God is bringing restoration to areas of your life that felt drained and lifeless. Strength is returning to where weakness lived. Peace is returning to where anxiety tried to take root. Clarity is returning to where confusion clouded your vision. Hope is rising where discouragement tried to stay. God is replacing heaviness with lightness, uncertainty with conviction, and fear with a deeper sense of purpose. The chosen ones are not left to wander aimlessly. When God marks you, He guides you step by step, even when the steps feel unfamiliar. You are walking into a season where God will make you understand why your spirit always felt different, why you could not blend in even when you tried, why certain paths never worked for you, why certain relationships never settled peacefully in your heart, why you always felt like you were being pulled away from what others ran toward. You were never meant to follow the patterns of the world. You were meant to follow the direction of God. And now that God is calling you into alignment, the things that once confused you will begin to make sense. The things that once frustrated you will reveal their purpose. The things that once hurt you will show you the strength you gain. So now, as this message reaches its conclusion, let it settle deeply into your spirit. You are chosen, not by accident, not by coincidence, not by circumstance, but by divine intention. You carry a calling that cannot be silenced, a destiny that cannot be denied, a purpose that cannot be replaced. And because God has chosen you, no force in existence can stop what He has planned for your life. Not your past, not your fears, not your mistakes, not the opinions of others. When God chooses someone, everything in creation rearranges itself to support that calling. Walk with confidence, not in yourself, but in the God who shaped you. Walk with courage, not because the path is easy, but because God strengthens you. Walk with faith, not because you see the full picture, but because God is guiding every step. And above all, walk with the unshakable knowledge that you are not ordinary. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. And the life God is leading you into is far greater than anything you are leaving behind.